Hello everyone, it's Matthew Stewart here, the CMO here at Fintelix.
How's it going, everyone? This is Will. We're back in the office, back in business. 2020. We're going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is
What we're going to discuss today is LAMP.
not like the actual landfill, is it?
In our past videos, we've mentioned a bit about mean stack and MERN stack. So what exactly makes up LAMP?
Well, LAMP stack is actually a stack that uses the LAMP acronym.
But what does LAMP actually stand for?
So L stands for Linux, A stands for Apache, M stands for MySQL, and P stands for PHP. Linux is a very commonly used operating system for web applications, and Apache is a web proxy technology that is commonly used to proxy and forward web HTTP request. M is MySQL, which is a structured query language database technology that allows user to design and kind of like store data in a structured relational fashion. And P stands for PHP, which is one of the most commonly seen backend technology language that is used in the market right now.
When would be the best situation to use something like LAMP as opposed to the MERN stack or mean stack?
Well, typically it is better for large applications and larger frameworks. A lot of enterprise are built on top of LAMP. It has a huge community. It's relatively stable. It's maybe difficult for prototyping just because of how heavy it is, and also because the front end and back end are typically written in different technical stacks. So it's slightly more difficult for the front end and back end team to collaborate. So if you're developing kind of a large enterprise application and you want to, and it's not like a very new emerging technology, you can always consider LAMP, and it's always a safe bet. And a lot of famous frameworks like Laravel, WordPress.
Now you mentioned that LAMP is more for larger web applications. Now I know mean stack is also great for larger applications too.
Right.
What would differentiate between using mean stack versus LAMP in those situations?
Right, so LAMP was developed in an era where there's a lot of server-side and client-side communication, and whereas mean stack was a bit more modern, where a lot of the server-side work is now offloaded to the front end, to the client side. There's a lot of more state management that you can do with Angular that you wouldn't be able to do with a lot of the traditional LAMP framework. In a sense, mean stack is more modern and more advanced in terms of having more flexibility in terms of how you want to architect your web application, whereas LAMP stack is a little bit more traditional. And the trade-off for that is being a more traditional and stable framework, you have a larger community where you can reach out to for help, like Stack Overflow. You can check out more framework and Q&A sessions on the issues that have already been resolved on GitHub for LAMP stack. And whereas there's more talents, there's more newer developers, the development community favors like mean stack and MERN stack a lot more than the MERN stack because it's more, like I said, more modern. It's more hip. So mean stack is very stable and mature comparing to MERN stack, and whereas LAMP stack is even more stable comparing to mean stack.
So in our previous video, we got into specifics about what exactly MERN stack is. What are some of the other differences between MERN stack and LAMP?
Yeah, I think if you're interested in checking out the differences between,
The link will be in the description.
I think there are several differences. Like for instance, Apache is more of a proxy, whereas Nginx, which is a lot of the MERN stack would tend to use, is more like a reverse proxy. And PHP is a language, and Node.js is kind of like a library, and Express is a framework. So it's a little bit different in that, like from a definition perspective. And also, I don't think we cover the fact that with MERN stack, everything is written in JavaScript or a form of JavaScript. Whereas for main stack, you still have to learn PHP. You still have to know about what do you want to use for your client side. That's still up to decide. So I guess that's a lot of the differences. And in terms of talent recruitment, a lot of the newer talent, the new grads, they really like React and really like Angular. They really like Node.js. So if you want to recruit people who are fresh out of university or college, I think you'll find a better luck recruiting people who want to use MERN stack. It's easier to assemble a technical team. Whereas if you want to assemble a team with a lot of experienced professionals, it may be easier to assemble a team with LAMP stack. It all depends on what you want to do and what kind of team chemistry you want to have within your team. Do you want to have like a team that likes to solve problems in a predictable manner, and you know that you have stale project timeline? Or do you like a team that likes to experiment a little bit more and want to take on more challenges and create new things out of thin air? So that's kind of like a startup culture versus like an enterprise culture. But yeah, I think as a business owner, you really want to think about like what's the purpose of what you're trying to build. Like if it's, let's say, an e-commerce shop, there's mature solutions for LAMP stack already that you can easily find. Like for instance, you can spin up a WordPress website and then install WooCommerce with ease. Whereas if you were to use MERN stack, you may have to do a decent amount of development in order to create your own customized version of your shop store. Yeah. And whereas if you want to create a really nice looking and just very powerful app, so maybe it's like financial software, like a web financial application, maybe MERN stack would be better used for that. Like if you're a startup that want to kind of be the next big thing, it's always a better idea to use a little bit more modern technology to show that you're forward thinking. That's what you would consider as a business owner or a founder.
So there you have it. Hopefully by now you understand a bit more about the differences between LAMP stack versus MERN stack versus mean stack.
Hopefully it's not just the technical stack, but also from a business perspective and business aspect on whether you should choose one or the other, and how do you build an application out of it. But I don't think we covered how do you do operations management, manage those applications from an operation standpoint once you launch it.
And if you're excited to hear more about that, stay tuned for our next video.
Stay tuned, and Happy New Year and stuff.
Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video, and also don't forget to give us a follow.